what do we see about Bill Belichick, or what do we not see about Bill Belichick and what he does? Because
He, Dan, he's the best.
But what is it though, Jimmy? Because you're one of my favorite, one of the smartest football people I've ever been around. But Belichick just does. He seems to be on a different level.
Well, we've been friends for over 30 years. Back when he was at Cleveland, we made a few trades, and I was at the Kentucky Derby with him 30 years ago. And he comes down quite often, and we visit on occasion. To give you an example, one of the times he came down here to the Keys, and he's always got a little bit of an agenda, and I want to go on the boat and drink beer, and we got on the boat, and he started talking about the draft. And, he's saying, Jimmy, he said, this and that, we've got some extra picks here and there. And, he started rattling off the players that I had drafted when I was at Dallas. He had already done his homework. And some of the guys I had forgotten about. He said, you drafted those players, but your team was so good that, you weren't able to keep them. They made another team. You had to cut them, and they went to another team. I said, Bill, draft picks are like currency. They're like money. And I said, how every single draft, you're going to be in that round, and there's going to be 5 teams call you and say, hey, we'll trade you next year's 2 for your 3. I said, so bank some of those picks. That was one year that we fished. And then a year later, he comes down and he's talking about, I got 3 players that are wanting new contracts. So, and he started talking about some of the contracts that we had done. So he's always working to get better. I've sat with him and Linda and Rhonda and I at a restaurant, here in the off season. He's on the phone with agents talking about, hey, a free agent, hey, we'll negotiate, we'll do this and that. And he's always working. He's the best. People want to compare great coaches of all time. And obviously you look at the Tom Landrys and the Chuck Knowles and the Don Shulas and everything else, but that was a different era. I mean, back then you built your team. That team stayed together for 10 years. You didn't have free agency. You didn't lose anybody. Today's football, I mean, you've got about 50 players or so, and you're liable to have to, middle of the season, you're liable to have to take somebody off the street and have him play that week. So I think I think coaching is more important today than it's ever been. Used to, you draft a rookie, he'd be on the bench for about 3 years before he ever played.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you draft a rookie, he's going to be playing it sometime during the year. So coaches have to be great teachers. They have to be better teachers than they've ever been. Now they've got about 25 coaches now, and they used to have about 7 or 8. So they got a lot of teachers on their staff.